So this is my dredge. You see this thing? It's like water goes in. And it's forced in. I think it goes that way. Yeah. Water's forced in around. This is a really cool thing. Of course, it's for a 6-inch dredge. Here's the other piece. Well, you can see what it is. And it's like that on the other end. Nice Lincoln. And the most important part of all, the sluice box. You catch all that gold. This is one of those things I've had for 20 years because I'm saving it because I might need it someday. Those are the hard parts to get if you want to build a dredge. Okay, so do I break that dredge up once and for all and use that sluice box on the end of my shaker deck is what I was thinking of doing with it. But then the rest of those parts will just never probably be used. Unless one of you wants to put it all back together and get some 55-gallon drums or something to make it float, and a pump and a motor. I mean, 6-inch dredges probably cost $20,000, brand new ones. So here's something that could be salvaged. Click over to Great Basin Gold Camp and contact me on Facebook. Thanks for watching, and I hope I earned your subscription. Well, now do you want to hear the rest of the story? How did that 6-inch dredge wind up in the middle of the desert, 200 miles from the nearest river? Well, I got the dredge from one of my old mining partners, Duke. Rest in peace, Duke. Duke was a dredger guy that liked to scuba and dredge. And he went up to the Salmon River in Idaho with his dredge and dredging for gold, and wound up dredging up another dredge. That's right, that dredge I got was sunk in the bottom of the Salmon River for who knows how long. But instead of dredging gold that trip, Duke dug out this sunken dredge and he brought it home. So Duke brought it home, and Duke was using like a 2.5-inch dredge. So he was pretty excited to find this and winch it out of the bottom and load it into his truck. Of course, the pontoons were broken. The frame was bent. It had a Volkswagen engine, he said, and a pump. And all of that stuff was ruined. It had 50 feet of hose. And I do have the nozzle. That's the other piece I didn't show you, is I do have the section of hose with the nozzle on the end of it. But after, he had it for years and never, he wanted to use fuel tanks off semi trucks. So big aluminum fuel tanks that was his plan, to use that for pontoons. But it's just one of those projects he never got to. And then, of course, his health got bad, and eventually he passed away. And I was good friends with the whole family, and they asked me if I wanted that. And so, yeah, I went ahead and collected that. And I'm not a dredger, not interested in going underwater or having anything to do with dredging. But the sluice box, to me, it looks like a keen, as best I can tell. The thing about it is, the volute looks like a keen, and the box looks like a keen, but the venturi is different than any Keen dredge I've ever seen. And I certainly haven't seen them all. And if that's a really old one, could be from the 70s. I believe Duke found this back in the 80s. And Keen's been making stuff for a long time. So let me know what you think, if you know what to do with that. So here's the thing. My shaker deck is going to have 2-inch material coming off of it. And that dredge is made to sluice 2-inch material easily. So it'll work perfect for that. But then, like I say, the rest of it will probably go to waste. Now I can simply build an undersluice type sluice to accept that large material. I don't have to use that. It's just I've got it already and I could implement it. It's a little light duty for what I'm going to do with it. It would be much better purposed being put back together as a dredge, and I think Duke would appreciate it. So if you're interested in building a dredge, contact me over there on Great Basin Gold Camp, and let's try to resurrect this thing.